Hey guys, it's me, Arlecchino, back with another video, and I'm sorry I've been away for so long. I've just had other priorities at the moment, I'm sure you can understand, but now that I've got a free minute, I'm finally going to get back to the YouTube. And I thought for the first video back, we'd do another deck profile. So here we've got the Nemleria deck, and obviously just a generic extra deck. We'll explain that in a minute when I tell you how Nemleria works. But yeah, the deck profile is going to be today, and then later on in the week, I thought I'd release a combo tutorial, maybe some other considerations for the deck, but yeah, let's get into it. So starting with the main deck, we are going to be having 3 copies of our boss monster, our main searcher, our combo starter, Dreaming Nemleria. Now, if you don't know what this deck does or how it works, essentially you banish cards from your extra deck to do effects, and this woman, she's the one the archetype revolves around. All your effects require her to be face up on the extra deck to resolve. She searches your main spell. You want a copy of her, so we're going to keep her as consistent as possible, so yeah. Let's put her up in the corner. Now next, in the main deck, we have 2 copies of our Nemleria Dream Defender Kuet. Now this card is brilliant, level 10 beast, and if we have a face-up pendulum monster in the extra deck, Dreaming Nemleria, you can special summon him for free from our hand, but you can only do this once per turn. As well as this, when our opponent activates a card or effect that targets one of our Nemlerias, you can banish a card from your extra deck and then negate that activation. Now this is brilliant, it is once per turn hard obviously, but that is a brilliant piece of interruption, and it's the reason I'm running 2, even if the stats are a little bit lower than the rest of our beasts. Next we have Nemleria Dream Devourer Reveal. Now this card is brilliant. If it's in our hand or graveyard, you can banish 3 cards and just summon it for free, 3 cards from the extra deck that is. Now this card is brilliant. This is like our main beat stick, our main, I don't know, win condition in the main deck, I guess. Or obviously her, when I explain her ability, will be, but he's brilliant. He's the versatile one. He gets you the trap, he comes back over and over again. You want one of these, so you're usually adding him off of your Dream Tower. And you're probably thinking, what's the Dream Tower? I'll show you that in a minute. Now next we have 2 copies of our Nemleria Dream Defender, Aurelia. Now Aurelia is, oh, let me center that a bit more for you. Aurelia is pretty nice, has the same summon effect as Kuet. If a face-up pendulum monster in your extra deck, you can special summon this card from your hand once per turn. And then, this is the good bit, if you have Dreaming Nemleria face-up in your extra deck, quick effect, you can banish a face-down card from your extra deck, and then this card gains 500 attack for each monster your opponent controls. So, this guy becomes a massive beat stick as well as looking awesome, look at that. But yeah, that is your main, I guess, way to get around your opponent's big monsters, because 2000 attack, not much, 25, pretty nice, but this usually goes up to like 4k in one game. I love that card so much, so cannot recommend running 2 cards of anything in this deck more than Aurelia. It is a brilliant card. Next, we're going to be looking at 2 copies of our Dreaming Reality of Nemleria Realize. Beautiful super rare there, but the effect is what we're really after. And look at the stats, 1500 attack, 3k defense, and it gains 100 attack for each face down card in our extra deck. Now this obviously becomes worse as the game goes on because we're banishing most of our extra deck for our effects, but that's not the effect we're looking at. If it's in our hand, you can target one monster you control, place it on the bottom of the deck, and special summon this card. So that's pretty free summon, because then if it is summoned, you can activate one of these effects. You either add a Dreaming Nemleria from your deck to your face-up extra deck, so if you don't get into your combos with Dreaming Nemleria early on, you can use this to enable them, but then as an interrupt, you can change one other face-up monster on the field to face-down defense position. Now, that is absolutely brilliant, just a free Book of Moon on our end board. That is exactly what we want to see with a deck like this. It doesn't really have much to do apart from that. So now let's look at the rest of our monsters. Now, for the rest of the monsters, of course, I mean our hand traps. Now, my hand trap ratios are a bit weird just because they're what I have at the moment, and that starts with 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Now, everyone knows what Ash Blossom does, brilliant card, you need to be running it this format. Next, we've got 2 copies of Dimension Shifter. Now, you're probably thinking, why aren't you running 3? I lost my 3rd Dimension Shifter. Yep, it happens. I've got another one on the way, but hopefully I'll have that soon because I want to play this deck. But yeah, Dimension Shifter works really well with this deck. You only need one graveyard access, well, one bit of access to the graveyard off your Reveal, but it's not the end of the world if you don't have that. Now, I did say, obviously, the trap's brilliant, but if you don't get the trap, most likely D-Shifter's going to win you the game. Next, I'm running a bit of an interesting choice. I'm running 3 copies of Artifact Lanceayer. Now, if anyone doesn't know what that does, so you can discard it in your opponent's turn, and, well, you tribute it from your hand or face-up field, actually, and neither player can banish cards for the rest of the turn, so completely counters Malice, which is a massive meta deck at the moment, you know. Cards like this are the cards that are going to win you the game. Next, we have 3 copies of Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. You kind of go all out with hand traps in this deck. This could be a Spooky Dogwood if you're looking to win in time, but I'm running the Moonlit Chill because it negates a special summon monster. That's really helpful, kind of gets around some of the issues this deck has. Finally, we have 3 copies of our Effect Veiler. Now, that's not finally for the hand traps or the go second cards, that's just finally for the monsters. Yeah, 3 copies of Effect Veiler, pretty standard in most decks, but without further ado, let's get on to the spells. So to start off our spells, we have got 3 copies of our main deck Searcher, Sweet Dreams Nemleria. Now, what this card does, so you activate it, add a Nemleria monster from your deck to your hand, then if you have Dreaming Nemleria face up in your extra deck, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects this turn when a Nemleria monster is normal or special summoned. This card is brilliant. It enables our main deck combos by searching out Dreaming Nemleria, or if we already have her, we can add one of our other cards like Aurelia or Dreaming Reality, and it just means that our opponent cannot activate 12 summons from then on. It's brilliant, it's amazing. But usually we're going to be using this to just grab our Dreaming Nemleria and get our combos started to fix the consistency issues with the deck. It also has a graveyard effect that you can place it from the graveyard to the bottom of the deck, then target one Dreaming Nemleria we control and add it to the extra deck face up. That's a really good effect, because we want our Dreaming Nemleria in all our combos. So say we activate our Nemleria, they negate, but we draw the Dream Tower anyway, we can just use Sweet Dreams to banish and then place that Dreaming Nemleria on top of the deck anyway, enabling all of our special summons for free. Now, what's that Dream Tower that I mentioned? Well, it's this card right here, 2 Dream Tower of Princess Nemleria. This is what makes the deck so amazing. You can banish 2 face down cards from your extra deck, face down, add 2 level 10 beast monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. That's not 2 Nemleria level 10 beast monsters, that's 2 level 10 beast monsters. That's why this deck works so well with Yosenjus, just other decks like that have level 10 beasts. There's a lot of them, but we're also running in some of our profiles, that is, not in this one that I'm showing now, but some profiles run Behemoth King of 100 Battles, it's called, and just other level 10s that you can search off Dream Tower. Now, what else does Dream Tower do? Because that's a wall of text. So you do get locked out of the extra deck for the turn, except for Pendulum, which does kind of suck. Obviously, we're not really using our extra deck anyway though, so that's fine. And then, if a Nemleria monster you control will be destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect while you have Dreaming Nemleria face up in your extra deck, you can banish a face down card from your extra deck face down instead. That's not once per turn, so anytime they try to destroy something, we just stop it. This, partnered with our Kuet to protect things that are targeted, for example the Dream Tower, mean that our board is quite hard to destroy. Obviously there are some cards that can get around it, but those 2 cards together really set up a strong board. Those partnered with Dreaming Nemleria's Pendulum effect, which I'll show you now. Once per turn during your main phase, you can place a Nemleria continuous spell from your deck or graveyard face up on your field, and if you do, add this card to your extra deck face up. So the plan is, Sweet Dreams, place her, she bounce, activate Dream Tower. That's your full combo. Literally it. Well, obviously you summon 2 afterwards, but that is all the searches you do. It's brilliant. Now let's read Dreaming Nemleria's other effect. Cannot be normal summon set, must be special summoned by having no cards in your extra deck except her, and you can only special summon her once per turn. If it's special summoned, for every 3 of your face down banished cards, you can banish up to 1 card from your opponent's field, graveyard, face down, then shuffle 1 of your face down banished cards into the deck for each card banished by this effect. This enables that effect perfectly by banishing 2 every turn, Reveal banishing 3 every turn. You get to her pretty quickly, especially if you're running the pots. Kuet and Aurelia banishing for their effects, you get into Dreaming Nemleria. Her effect is brilliant for clearing up games, clearing their board, almost being unstoppable with the Kuet stopping interrupt. It means that you're kind of guaranteed the win sometimes. But we are running other spells, obviously, to support all our Nemleria cards, and 2 of those are Mound of the Bound Creator. Now, you've probably heard of this card, but it's just level 10 or higher monsters on the field cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects, and if a level 10 or higher monster destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, the player who controlled the destroyed monster takes 1,000 damage, and then we can ignore the second because it's about Divines. But that's brilliant. It just protects our level 10s. It means they can't be targeted or destroyed, which basically means that they can only target this for the Kuet. Wait a minute, Arcuette stops targeting. So, you know, that's pretty brilliant. They'll probably try and get rid of the Mound of the Bound Creator, but then you've still got your Dream Tower to protect anyway, so really solidifies your board and keeps your monsters safe. Next, to fix consistency issues, we're running 3 Pot of Extravagance. Everyone knows what that does. Banish 6 cards from the extra deck, draw 2. But did I say banish 6 cards from the extra deck? In a deck where we're trying to clear the extra deck so that we can activate our Pendulum Monster's effect. This is brilliant in this deck. It really fixes the consistency issues, completely enables our boss monster. Perfect card for this deck. Next, we're running 1 copy of Called by the Grave. Stops hand traps, you know, definitely what every deck needs. After this, we're running 3 copies of Book of Eclipse. Now, everyone knows what Book of Eclipse does. You change all face-up monsters on the field to face-down defense position, and then during the end phase, you change as many face-down defense position monsters your opponent controls as possible to face-up. Then your opponent draws cards equal to the number of monsters changed face-up by this effect. Amazing piece of interrupt, but also an amazing card if you're trying to interrupt, you know, trying to stop your opponent's plays. It's just a really nice card to have in the deck, and exactly the kind of thing we're looking for. Finally, the last spell in our deck, 1 copy of Triple Tactics Talent. This card is brilliant. Triple Tactics Talent has won me so many games. You can often get hand trapped, you know, that can put roadblocks in place, but Triple Tactics Talent can save the day. You draw 2 cards, bam, your hand's unbricked. You look at their hand, bam, you know what they're playing, quite often remove the starter. Brilliant card. So, without further ado, let's get into the traps. Finally, for the traps in the deck. First off, we're running 2 copies of our Nemleria Repertoire. Now this card is amazing, so if we control another Nemleria card, you can banish the following number of cards from your extra deck face down, except Dreaming Nemleria, then activate the appropriate effect. 1, you add a Nemleria card from your graveyard to your hand, so recycling. 2, any damage you take this turn is half, protection. 3, send a level 10 beast monster you currently control to the graveyard, and if you do, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. Now, what I've been finding myself doing with this card is activating the 3rd effect to send a level 10 beast monster I control to the grave and then negate my opponent's board. You use that in your opponent's turn, and then you use the 1st effect in your turn to add that level 10 back and just special summon it for free. That is a brilliant effect. It's interrupt, it's consistency boosting, or recovery. It's just an amazing card that you really want on your end board. That's why we're running 2 of it, is because you can add it off Reveal, you can set it if you draw it. It's just a nice card to have. The next card works really well with that one. This is Nemleria Louvre. You special summon a Nemleria monster or a level 10 beast from your hand or deck in defense, but return it to the hand during the end phase. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 100 attack and defense for each card you each of your face-down banished cards until the end of this turn. Now this card is brilliant. You can special summon the Eraler to set up a big body if you need defense. You can set up the Dreaming Reality of Nemleria to be a quick effect Book of Moon, or quick effect place the Dreaming Nemleria face up, and then it returns to the hand so you can use it again next turn. It's a brilliant card, but the graveyard effect is even better. Usually they'll be losing around 1600, 1700 attack per turn when you use that, and acting as a brilliant defense for your monsters. Now, these two obviously work really well together. Louvre can summon a monster, enabling your Repertoire, which is why we're running 2 copies of each. But finally for the traps, we're running 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, the hand trap, which targets the face-up monster your opponent controls and negates it. And if it was set beforehand, you negate every spell in that column. This is brilliant, but obviously we want to make sure we're not negating our own Dream Tower with it, so be careful with what you play. Finally, let's move on to the extra deck. We've got kind of a weird extra deck set up with this deck, considering the fact that we're trying to banish all of it anyway. We don't really want to be using any of our extra deck cards, to be honest. The focus is on the main deck, so we've got 1 copy of Sky Palace Gangaradai, they're at rank 10, so 2 level 10s. You can detach a material from this card, target a card your opponent controls and destroy that target, inflicting 1000 damage to them. However, you cannot attack the turn you activate this effect, which kind of sucks. So 3400, yeah, but bit of a weak effect. Removal if you have absolutely nothing else, which is why we're running it. Next, we've got XX Utopic Dark Infinity. When a monster is destroyed by battle and sent to the grave, you can detach a material from this card, target that monster, special summon it to your field and defense. You target one of the face-up special summon monster you control, gain life point equal to its original attack. 4000 attack, 4000 defense. This is a really good card in concept, but realistically you're never going to be using it because you're just banishing it for all your monsters anyway. That is the one problem with this deck. The extra deck is kind of redundant. Next, we've got Pain Gainer. Now, the effect we're really looking at here is the fact that, where is it? While it has material, each time your opponent activates a spell trap card, inflicts 600 damage to them immediately after it resolves. Now, obviously that's really nice, but you can also destroy all face-up monsters with defense less than or equal to this card. So that works really well with our Book of Eclipse. It works really well with a lot of our cards, so yeah, that's why we're running that. Obviously, tax pay effect is the nicest part of the card, inevitably, so that's the main reason we're running that. Next, we have 81 Super Dora, Super Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, Super Dora. So 2 level 10s, and once per turn you can detach a material, then target a face-up monster on the field. That target is unaffected by card effects except its own until the end of this turn. That is a brilliant piece of defense, you know, protect your own cards from opponents' effects, but also 3200 attack, 4000 defense. Now, again, you're not really using the extra deck, so you don't really need to worry about it, but it's fine, I guess. We got Tistina the Divinity that defies darkness next. Tistina in Nemleria? I know, weird, right? But this is the effect we're looking at. If it's special summoned, you can send all face down cards your opponent controls to the graveyard. That sounds like an out to a trap deck to me. So that's why we're running that, just trap removal. The second effect is redundant considering we're not hard making it with Tistinas. Finally, for the Xyz monsters, we've got 1 copy of Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Sky Thunder. So you make a rank 10, swing with the rank 10, summon Zeus. Pretty repetitive, pretty normal play that everyone sees, quick effect attached to, and send all face-up cards on the field to the grave. It's a brilliant card for turn 4 or 5 when your opponent hasn't really got anything left, but you also don't really have anything left either. So yeah, let's move on to the synchro cards in the extra deck. Or should I say synchro card? Yep, we're running 1 copy of Psychic End Punisher. Now, while our life points are less than or equal to our opponents, the synchro summon card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Brilliant card. Once per turn, pay 1000 life points, target a monster you control and a card your opponent controls and banish them. But here's the effect we're really looking at. At the start of your battle phase, you can make this card gain attack equal to the difference in your life points and your opponent's. That makes this card a massive beat stick, but the reason we're running this is all our Nemlerias are level 10, and Effect Veiler is a level 1 tuner. So yes, you can hard make Pep with Effect Veiler and 1 other monster in this deck. Brilliant card. Now let's look at the links. First, we've got IP Masquerena, which is a quick effect link in your opponent's turn. And what you're going to be linking into, of course, it's SP Little Knight. Super rare, I know, but it's the cheapest one I could get, so that's why we're running it. But SP Little Knight, quick effect, banish, exactly the kind of thing we're looking for in this deck. We're also, as a weird tech, running Donna Dagger Fur Hire, which is non-quick effect. You target a Fur Hire monster you control, and 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy them. So the idea with that is you target itself, target something else, get rid of it. It's really good for things like Skill Drain or Anti-Spell Fragrance, but specifically Skill Drain because it removes itself from the field, so it's no longer negated. We're also using 2 copies of Nightmare Unicorn just in case you needed bounce removal, but these can really be anything. You could be a Phoenix, Cerberus, or anything else you want to run. The extra deck's kind of custom for this deck. Next, we've got 1 copy of Boral Sword Dragon, just a big link for that gains loads of attack, is unaffected. What's another one of them? Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax. Yeah, we're running the link for OTK package, should we say. Just make big bodies, win the game. Finally, for our last extra deck card, we're running 1 copy of Underworld Goddess of the Closed World that works really nicely with IP Masquerena to remove your opponent's board and set up a pretty strong win condition. But yeah, that is everything from this deck. That is the entire extra deck that you're not really using anyway because you're banishing it, but also the versatile main deck. For my next video, I think I'm going to be doing a combo video to show out what this deck can really do. And if you want to see more content like this, you should like and subscribe and stay tuned for next week's video. Thanks for watching.